We've been wondering for some time, will there be any consequences for the killing of Elijah McClain? And now we find out that the police officers and the paramedics have been indicted by a grand jury. Elijah McClain, of course, is a black man who was put in a chokehold and injected with a powerful sedative 2 years ago in suburban Denver. The 5 defendants involved in his death will each face 1 charge of manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide, as well as a variety of assault charges. Which, look, I don't know if you remember the details, we're gonna give you the details, seems very reasonable. So basically, the indictment was unsealed just yesterday, and it accuses the paramedics of failing to follow medical protocols before and after they injected Mr. McClain with ketamine. Mr. McClain was already handcuffed when the medics arrived on the scene, and the indictment says they didn't talk to him, they didn't check his vital signs or properly monitor him after giving him a powerful drug. And so in short, effectively, he was walking home from a convenience store. He had a bag of cans of iced tea, was listening to music, he's wearing a mask, and cops ran up on him and began hassling him. He tried to talk to them, to reason with them. By the way, I saw, again, his last words. "I can't breathe. I have my ID right here. My name is Elijah McClain. That's my house. I was just going home. I'm an introvert. I'm just different. That's all. I'm so sorry. I have no gun. I don't do that stuff. I don't do any fighting. Why are you attacking me?" And yet they did. And then even once the paramedics came, they decided to sedate him, and he died as a result of that. All these people that we're supposed to be able to depend on, that are supposed to be responsible, we give them the literal power of life and death, and they did not care at all about Elijah McClain. Jackson, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is that just in general, this is, and again, luckily, now I had an encounter with the police and they were cool, but the security guard really wanted them on me. And so just in general, the attitude that police are there to keep a certain people in place, to keep a certain people with the idea that they have to stay in line. This even goes back to our previous discussion about the abortion laws. The right-wing conservative mindset in general is that without strict authority on people's sense of freedom, there can only be chaos, and therefore they must be in that place. I mean, so much to the point where you're choking and sedating a child. You have all these adults and these grown men on this child because there's a deep, pervasive belief that that's necessary in order to keep the order. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's really my thoughts on it. And again, this goes back to, if we want change, we got to get to the municipalities, we got to get to the local politics, because if we don't do that, then this will not change.
Exactly. Yeah. And there has to be accountability. Thankfully, there will be charges in this case, but the knee-jerk cliched response is it's just bad apples. So who? Both the cops and the paramedics, I guess, were just bad apples too, because they didn't care. And then 3 other officers were fired, and 1 resigned last year over photos mimicking the chokehold that was used on Elijah McClain. So just the people that work with him, I guess, are bad apples too.
The culture, the attitude, and who it attracts.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Yeah. Who it attracts and what influence it has on people who go into that system to conform, to be okay with that sort of thing. Yeah, and we can see the effect. Thankfully, look, I guess there will be some consequences, but Elijah McClain is dead, as so many people are. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.